Who News Roundup, somewhat belatedly. Hello and welcome to a quick video. Don't worry, there's another one coming on the weekend. I just thought I'd finally get around to talking about some of this. We've had some news breaking over the course of the last month or so, and I can't always jump to attention and immediately post a clickbait video whenever we get anything new, especially when it's New Who related. But I thought I'd give my take on the latest developments. A few weeks ago now, of course, we had the announcement of the new companion, an 18-year-old former Coronation Street star called Millie Gibson, playing Ruby Sunday. Presumably they wanted to do Ruby Tuesday, and the Rolling Stones told them to get stuffed, at a guess, allegedly. I don't really have much of an opinion one way or the other because I don't know the actress, because we don't get Coronation Street on here. I mean, I've seen a couple of clips on YouTube since, obviously, and she seems okay. Yeah, okay. I think we're all kind of reassured just to see her. She seems like a Doctor Who companion. She's normal, pretty young girl next door type. Okay. I mean, until we get rather more than that, like more on the character, and we actually get to see her on screen, I don't really have much else to add to that. I am somewhat amused by, for the most part, the news has gone down well with Doctor Who fans. I am somewhat amused by some of the more differing reactions from different sides of the scale. One side of the scale, I'm amused by the New Who fans having an existential crisis because this is the first companion to be younger than they are now. I find that kind of amusing, to be honest. Wait till it's the Doctor, folks. Then you really have something to worry about. On the other end of the scale, I know there's at least one YouTuber who's apparently been thrown into paroxysms of lust by her, and some others getting terribly upset by that. Okay, I mean, personally, I don't care either way. Speaking personally, she seems cute, but I can't say I was immediately thrown into paroxysms of insane desire or anything. Okay, she's like that. I'm not being funny about her. I'm just amused by the reaction. Like I said, she seems cute. I don't really care one way or the other. And no, I don't care if somebody wants to get into paroxysms of lust and getting all upset because she's just 18. I don't care. Fine. I'm just saying that, speaking personally. And again, I'm not dissing her in any way. She's an attractive young girl. I'm just saying, personally speaking, in Doctor Who terms, I don't think Lala or Karen have got anything to worry about for me. That's just my personal opinion. We also had some other stuff. Apparently there was a TARDIS leak. Okay. The console. Okay, from the design, I'm not going to show it. From the design, what we could see, it looked kind of okay. It looked kind of old schoolish. Well, hopefully they are going for the classic white look. It's about time. I don't know why we had to change it in the first place. Just to be awkward. But we haven't, we hardly saw anything of it worthy to be really, Obviously, what was leaked was not what we're meant to see it as, so whatever. And the other thing, because we had some more production notes or whatever from Davis in Doctor Who magazine last week, in which we found out that probably going to be Christmas specials back, though he doesn't actually say that for certain. He says there's going to be festive every year. Probably will be Christmas special, but no. And no more gap years. But he also gave the episode length of series 14 at a fairly surprisingly low 8 episodes. Now, I know a lot of people have been very pissed off by that, and I know a lot of other people have been very kind of apologist for that. Personally, I do think it's a bit short. I think it's a bit weak. He does kind of hint that that may not be the season length going forward, that it may just be for this one, in which case you could say perhaps fair enough, given that we are getting like 3 specials, the 60th anniversary ones. So maybe, which when compared, maybe maybe we might get, like 11 or something later in subsequent years. I hope so, because I do think 8 is far too short. And if there's one thing that kind of irritates me, it's these people who always have to apologize for everything. It's one thing to, don't throw your toys out of your pram in disappointment, but at the same time, I do get a little bit irked by these fans that always have to defend absolutely every decision that ever gets made by New Who. It's like, okay, you can allow some criticism. It's not the end of the world. And I'm sorry, 8 episodes is short. That's literally going back to pretty much like late 80s season length, really. It's kind of weak. I find it difficult to believe that Davis thinks that's good enough. So I do hope it goes up in that. I get that they want it on every year now and no more gap years, but I think seasons that short are still kind of weird. And I get, this audience, this modern audience, that's how modern shows are made these days. Look at Netflix. Do we have to? Because I don't think much to this modern way of doing TV, I'm afraid, where we get 8 episodes and then we might get another season in 2 years. I find that a bit crap. I'm sorry. If that's the way we do it nowadays, well, maybe the way we do it nowadays is a bit shit. I'm sorry. Does that ever occur to anybody? Maybe it's not actually that great. Because it's difficult to see how we're ever going to get any show that goes up there with the Titans, like Buffy or Friends or Seinfeld or The X-Files, where they somehow manage to pump out, 20-odd episodes a year. Now, just restricting it to the equivalent, stuff like the Buffy, the X-Files, the Star Treks. We're not talking like cheap sitcoms here or anything. We're talking like high-end for the time, and in many cases still high-end, genre shows that they produce like 20-odd episodes of in 9-10 months of the year. I heard the other week that Wednesday apparently took 8 months to make. 8 episodes took them 8 months to make, whereas once upon a time they could churn out 24 high quality stuff on the level of the X-Files and Buffy in barely another month or so. I think maybe there's something wrong with your production model, because it doesn't seem to be particularly productive. I'm sorry. I know this really upsets the modern generation who throw their toys out of the pram at even the slightest questioning that maybe the way things are done today isn't the greatest thing ever, but I just find it really strange. We seem to be actually going backwards, if anything. I just find that a bit weird. So look, again, don't get me wrong, I'm not, I don't want to make it sound like I give too much of a shit. I mean, honestly, I don't even know if I'm going to be watching the show just yet. The proof will be in the pudding, It really depends on whether or not I think it's remotely worth continuing to watch. Because I haven't watched New Who for well over 5 years now, and if I don't see something particularly impressive, and by that I mean no, another replay of the Tennant era is not going to do it for me, then I won't be coming back anyway. So I don't want to, go over the top or anything, but I do think that's a bit short, especially for Doctor Who. It doesn't, and I hope that it's going to go on more. And I know that some people have said, because he says in that, like the production notes, there's lots of content, which we're supposedly getting spin-off shows and all this shit. And it's like, when people are saying, well, maybe we'll get 8 episodes of Doctor Who and then spin-off show, like several spin-off shows. It's like, yeah, but that doesn't necessarily particularly interest me. I don't really like any of the spin-off shows we've had so far. The only Doctor Who spin-off on TV that I like is Canine and Company, which was a one-off. I wasn't a particular fan of Sarah Jane. It was too kiddie for me. It wasn't bad, but it was too kiddie for me. And Torchwood was shite. I'm sorry. I know that, again, that will upset people who seem to want it back for some reason. I thought it was absolutely god awful. And it's like, I don't want spin-offs. Well, not if that's going to mean we only get 8 episodes of the actual show. and again, I know this is all predicated on it being any good and me even giving a crap, which is again pie in the sky at the moment. But I just find this stuff rather tiresome. Can't you just do can't you do a proper length season and not do spin-off shows if that's what we get? Because really, if it does turn out to be good, I'd rather have a full-length stock season of Doctor Who instead of a truncated season and some probably mediocre spin-off. But that's just my opinion. Anyway, that's all I've got to say on this. This is the latest news. They'll probably do something else, shoot his costume or something, which I'll probably talk about in 6 months if they do. Because this is belated. But that's just my particular opinion on the latest news. Take it or leave it, basically.